Dwarves Inc. I can't even tell you how I got this game. It looks like a prototype. I think maybe I got it in a math grade or some kind of trade or something. I'm not sure how it got into my collection. Games that don't play two don't make it into my collection very long unless they're a fantastic game. A game I need to be playable 2 players. My wife and I play a lot of games, or Buddy and I sit down to play. It's not that I won't have any games. I like nothing personal like Panamax. I like Kanban. I feel like those need more players. I like those games, but they're very good games. For a game to be mediocre or a little bit above and stay in my collection, I think, and this is coming to me now, is I think I need to be 2 players. And this game is not. It's 3 players. But this is going to play more like a party game to me. It isn't abstract. You're never going to feel like you're a dwarf in a mine here. If you feel like you play through the desert and you feel like you're a caravan, then you'll feel like you're a dwarf. They don't necessarily play the same, similar, but the thematic attachment to the game, I think, is the same. Nevertheless, I had fun with this, and that's rare for an abstract. I don't know why some abstracts hit with me and most don't. I don't really like them. Theme is very important to me. Or at least I want to see that the theme makes sense to me. You know, it makes no sense why you're leaving diamonds behind in this and getting this if you happen to hit this spot, whatever. But it works for me. And that's rare. But we had a really great time. And because it was so easy, I was able to play it with a group of mine that likes light/medium to medium games, and it went over very well. We were able to do repeat plays very easily because they were able to pick it up, and the game wasn't complicated. We didn't have to relearn a bunch of rules. And that usually is a negative to me, to believe it or not. I like games with rules. Not rules that don't make sense, but rules that play into it. And I like deeper experiences, but sometimes I like a lighter experience. And this plays as a party game to me. It's not a party game as in necessarily you're going to play and laugh and have that stupid time you have with some of these party games that you think of, which I don't really play many of them. But to me, it's a party game in the fact that it's light. Decisions matter, but not too much. Nobody's really going to care if they win or lose. But the fun's in the box. The fun's in the experience. And I like these, what I call these type of party games. You would never call it a party game, but I will. Because you don't have to act stupid. The fun isn't you looking ridiculous. The fun isn't you saying something dumb. The fun is in the game box, and I like that. So, Dwarves Inc. or Dwarves Incorporated, it ended up being a much better game than I thought it would be. And it exceeded all expectations I have, to the point where this might be a game you want to seek out as long as you don't expect too much. The theme is kind of unique. Even though it uses dwarves, it's unique that you're just a dwarf mining. Maybe Caverna used that a little bit, but this is the whole game in a very light package. Now, usually with a light game like this, I think that this could very easily be sold at a Target or big box store. The ease of play. The theme isn't necessarily going to be broad. You're not going to see a lot of people, I don't think you're going to get a knitting club to sit around and play a theme of Dwarves Inc. But this game could sell. It could have some legs if it gets somebody behind it and can get out there. And that's Dwarves Inc., which is a keeper. The components for Dwarves Incorporated. I'm not really sure how I got this game. So the components could be from a prototype. Kind of looks prototype-ish. I'm not sure, but it might give you a general idea anyway. So you're going to get these jewels, and I have quite a few here of different ones. And they're extremely, extremely nice, these little jewels here, and they come in different colors. Once again, this might be a prototype, but I have yellow here, but I have greens. That looks kind of like orange there, and it's red. But otherwise, I mean, I could definitely kind of see what they're going for here. And we had a good time with it, because the initial flags don't really matter. It's just where you place those. You're going to get some tokens with dwarves on them. It looks super nice. Pretty thick. And then all of your money is going to be in tokens and no paper money, so that's good. Very good. And you're going to get a little player board here that has all the rules you need for scoring and the dwarves and where you keep your investment cubes. And you're going to have a deck of cards. And this is also what makes me think it's a prototype, because these aren't very good. But you can definitely see what they're going for. Kind of a humorous picture and some words and some powers. And there's not a ton of these. They repeat sometimes, but there's not a whole lot of space is what you'll do on the board. And then you have the rule book that comes with it. Now, what's interesting about this game was it's really light and fun. So what you'll do, the first turn of the game you place 1, the second guy will place 2, and you'll place 3 for the majority of the game. So what you would do is you would take one of these gems and you'd place it, and it must be placed by another one. And then the next player would go, he'd pick 2, and I'm just kind of picking this randomly. So he'd go here. And then the next guy, and therefore the rest of the game, you will place 3 of these little gems out. And this represents you digging. And then you start the game out with 4 gems of different colors, and they're placed here at your investment. So what you'll do is on your turn, you'll place 3 gems for most turns, and then you can exchange one of these on your board for one of another color. The next player will go. Let me show you the possible spaces on the board. You have this treasure, which allows you to draw a card. So if you put a coin on it or a gem on it, you get one of these cards, and they do different things. 2 mining gems. It keeps people from playing a certain color gem. This gives you 2 gems in your market, but you can't exchange these 2. Every time you receive less than 2 coins, add 2 to the number of dwarves in your calculation. So these cards will kind of break the rules of the game, if you will. Then you'll have dwarves. You can get more of these. Dwarves act as multipliers. I'll get into the scoring in just a second, but these are multipliers. Then you have these red spaces, which nobody can go on. This kind of block things. Let me see what else we have here. We have this safety deposit box, which will give you more. So when the game starts, you start with 4 investment gems, the same gems used on the board, but these are going to count for how much ownership you have of a company. If you get a gem to the safety deposit box, you get to choose a gem to add to your investment tokens. So instead of having 4, I will now have 5. And you'll understand why this is important when I explain the gold. Then you have these tunnels, which can take you from tunnel, 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 tunnel. So take you across the board with these colors. Just got to make sure you have enough to put 1 on this one and then 1 on the other one that you're moving to. You can't half it, so you have to be able to go all the way across the board. And the last part is the gold, and this is how you're going to score points, okay? So when you get to the gold, so whatever color you go, so if you put a yellow on there, you will score yellow. If you place a green on there, you will place green. You will score green. So then you'll go to this nifty little chart that you have on your player aid. And it's much easier than it's going to come off with. So whoever has the majority in their investment place, where you remember you start with 4 and you can add some to the deposit box. Whoever has the most, let's say we're doing green, whoever has the most green will score 2 coins for every dwarf you have. And that's why the dwarfs can be a multiplier. So if I had this many dwarves, I would score 2, 4, 6, 8. But if I had an extra dwarf I had, now I would score 10. And that's 10 victory points is what that is. If your first place is tied, you get 1 coin, but in second place gets nothing. If you're in second place, you get 1 coin per dwarf. Second place tied, you get 1 coin for every 2. Now if you're the finder and you don't get anything for it, you still get 1 per dwarf. And you're going to go around, you're going to try to position yourself into getting these. Remember, it always has to be connected. So you always have to build off of it, off the color. Now, if a purple and a green end up being next door to each other, you can place either color there. And it's very simple. You're going to drop 3 gems down, trying to get these extra bonuses, and then score these points. And you're going to be kind of jockeying for what's most important to have majority, or the first or second place. And sometimes you'll look and see where somebody's going, and you'll try to get that gem just to score something, because you know they're going to score that color. And once all the gold pieces all over the entire board are full, the game ends. And that's how you play Dwarves Incorporated. The rules for Dwarves Inc. is fairly simple. There's not very much to it. On your turn, you're going to move around, put some stuff down, and possibly get some actions here. And the rules do very good of corresponding to icons. There's not really only 4 to 6 in the whole game. And there's a few cards. I wish there may have been some more of these cards. because you tend to use the same ones over and over. But maybe that would be an expansion or something they're planning for the expansion. But for the most part, that's not a huge part of the game. The rulebook was very clear. I didn't have any problems setting it up, understanding it. The rules actually probably seem longer because of the size of this rulebook rather than how many rules there are. The game is fairly simple to digest, and I think lighter gamers can pick it up very, very simply. I mean, if you can figure out Monopoly or Life, you can figure this game out. So, a little bit heavier than Through the Desert, but I do see some similarities there, and I might get torn up for that, but that's what I see. The board's going to look like this, but larger. You're going to have it's 9 total tiles, but I'm just going to show you 4 to give you an idea of how it works. And each tile is going to have different icons on it. They're going to mean different things, and I'll explain those as I play the game. So this will be the starting tile. It'll usually have tiles all the way around it. The game will be made up in a grid. Just thought it might be a little big to showcase it. We don't need it. And you're going to start out with a player board. And the way the player board is going to have, you're going to have 4 dwarves that are automatically on there, and a player aid of how things will go, and then cards you'll keep in your stock. There'll be multipliers. And then you'll also have a deck of cards that'll be set to the side. So the way the game will be played is you will have a bunch of tiles, or a bunch of gems, and you'll choose 3 of any color, and you'll play these out on the board, and you'll just lay 3 gems. The only rules to it is it has to be adjacent to a gem that's already played, so like this. And you lay 3 out. If you hit any of the icons on the board, you will do something. Get to that in a second. And so the next player will then go, and he can choose the same color, different color, whatever's advantageous to him. And those will go on the board. And that will continue the whole game. Now that would be boring, but let's get into how things work. So you're going to have a number of different icons on this board. So I'll go through each one. This one, with the red around it, with these eyes poking out, just means nobody can put that on there. It's just a blocker, if you will. And then you'll have these tunnels. And basically, the board will have a ton of tunnels all over it. You can put a gem here, and then maybe a gem way up here, which you can't see because it's off the board, it's how far away it is, or this tunnel here, or anywhere else. The only rule is that if you put one on top of this tunnel, you have to have at least one more gem to place to showcase where it's coming out at. So it can shrink the board, or if you get cornered in, or a certain gem color gets cornered in, not you, as you don't actually represent any particular gem, you can move around the board. So that's going to be helpful. If you happen, it's not on this tile, let me show you this one, get on a dwarf tile, then you would get an additional dwarf token. And what's good about these dwarf tokens, which you'll see when it comes to scoring, so then I would put this on my player map, and now I would have 5 dwarfs instead of 4. And that's going to be important for scoring. I'll get to how the game scores in a second. So hold that thought. And then you have this safety deposit box. And this is going to give you immediately, you can pick any gem that you want, any color, and it goes into your treasury. Now the treasury that you have is going to be important. I will get to that. But remember, you can get dwarves and you get more gems in your treasury. And then you'll have the treasure chest. If you cover up a treasure chest with a gem, you will get one of these cards. And these cards will break the rules and they will do different things. When you use it on your turn, other players receive no money for any gold dug out. The money you receive does not change. Money is victory points. Keep this card in front of you. Every time you receive less than 2 coins per dwarf, you add 2. Some dwarves are trapped in a tunnel. Give each player, including yourself, 1 dwarf token from the treasury. Keep this card until use. To use on your turn, select a free danger red border square on the board and place any mining gems. This allows you to use the red ones that everybody else can't use. And so these cards basically will break the rules. And the way you get those is by putting a gem on top of the treasure chest. And the last one is gold. This is how you're going to score. Scoring is very simple and not to be complicated. Okay? The way this works, so remember I said you could get gems to add to your investment. At the end of each turn, after you place your 3 gems, On the first turn, you will take 4 gems, any 4 you want. You just pick them up, and those become your investment. Keeping in mind that there are ways, this safe deposit box, to get more gems. So if I was laying on that, I would have a 5th gem in here, any color I wanted. If it's not your first turn, then you can exchange. At the end of my turn, maybe I want to try to get blues. I could put a blue gem in here. Or maybe I don't want to score red right now. Red's not going to score. I think this is going to score. I could exchange 1 at the end of my turn. And that's going to be important for scoring. So if you were trucking along and purple, let's say, ended up on this, on a gold spot. So whatever gem lands on the gold, you will then score that gem color. So that's why it's going to be important to trail them around the board. And this player aid is going to tell you how it works. If you're first place, you get 2 coins for every dwarf you have. So the more dwarfs you get, the more multipliers you're going to get. If you're tied, you each get 1 coin per dwarf. No second place. If first place is awarded, but second place is uncontested, where there's no tie for first or second, you get 1 coin per dwarf. So first place, 2 coins per dwarf. Second place, 1 coin per dwarf. If second place is tied, so now you've awarded a first place, 1 person, but second place is a tie, you each get 1 coin for every 2 dwarfs you have. And whoever lands in the spot, at least, at minimum, will get 1 coin per dwarf. So that's how it scores. It's all written right here. It's very simple. So what you want to have is you want to have your investment. You want to have your investment cubes. So right now, I would have, if pink scored, I would have 2. If this clear scored, I have 1. And purple, I would have 1. So you want to have the majority based on what other people have on what you're going to score. So you want to score things when you have the majority, either first or second. Preferably first, you're going to get double the points for it. So I'm going to be very clear on that. And that's all Dwarves Inc. is. Every round, you're going to lay 3 of the same color. You're going to put them down on the board. And then you can, if you want to, you can exchange one of your investment tokens out for a different color. That's the game. And you try to strategically grab these things to score. And once every gold spot is scored, the game ends. You tally up who has the most coins. And you'll see them in here, coins, which are just cardboard tokens. And then you win the game. That's Dwarves Incorporated. Simple, but fun. Who should buy this game? I would recommend this probably for most gamers. I mean, it can push an hour, so it's not exactly a filler, but if you're looking for a lighter experience or a family experience, this could be it. If you have a family that likes this dwarf or fantasy the theme without, and you're not looking for necessarily something that replays Lord of the Rings like War of the Ring, but you're looking for something lighter that the family can play together, this might be it. And this could be a transition game for children into a little bit deeper games. I played a couple lately that I call them transition games for children. I can get them off the rules. You know, the kids are getting 6 to 11, and while the adult probably could beat them at the game, if you give them a little bit of leadway, they can do fairly well, and this could be it. A lot of this game is taking advantage of a situation. You know, somebody left you open, or that was their only move, or that was their best move, which just happened to leave you a good move. You know, kind of like 5 Tribes in a way. This doesn't play anything like 5 Tribes, just the opportunities being there sometimes. Other players will sometimes inadvertently or on purpose set you up for a play. Otherwise, I think most gamers will probably like this. If you just try this out and you were able to just kind of get through your turns and not overly think it, I think this game moves along at a good pace. It has some analysis paralysis in it if you allow it to, but the game is too light for that. If you think too hard about your moves and too long, it's going to bog the game down, and it's not going to be able to hold that in. So I definitely wouldn't do that, and I don't think anybody would playing this game. But I'm glad this somehow found in my collection. I'll be keeping this. I'd be interested in playing with the family, and this is a surprise. So check this one out: Dwarves Inc. Keeper.